Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is it.
This is Top Flight Time Machine Emergency Podcast. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
We are podcasting to you today to look at the earthquake news. Not of an earthquake, but of an election in Argentina of Javier Milei, who is the new Argentine president, who seems to be a complete fucking whack job. And he has been running for president after his dead dog gave him that as a mission from beyond the grave. We also have other elements of his campaign to look at. He's cloned his dead dog to create 5 puppies, who he has named one of them after the original dog and the rest after some notable economists. You've got some more information on his background, I believe, Sam?
Well, when Martin McCabe, I think his name is, tweeted us and referred to him as the this and that end boss, I thought, yeah, that sounds about right. And someone else had tweeted pictures of him saying that he looked like a contestant on Bullseye. So there's been quite a few joke things going around about him. But we dug a bit deeper, and it turns out that he's less this and that and more like, well, his nickname is El Loco, the Madman. So he's not a kind of a laid back whatever English. He's a bit more like he's crazy. The bloke's crazy, like you say. Yeah. He was encouraged to start a political career by the spirit of his dead dog. He had the dead dog cloned 5 times.
He's paid $50,000 US to have Conan, which was his original dog that died in 2017. He visited a medium after that to communicate with Conan, and Conan gave him the task of becoming president. He then cloned Conan. Here's another bit that's important. Milei believes that he and Conan met in a previous life more than 2,000 years ago as a gladiator and lion in the Roman Colosseum. But they did not fight to the death, as they were destined to join forces in the future. And he believes this was a prophecy of his future presidential campaign.
Yeah, so he got it cloned. He got 5 of them, 50 grand, which I think is quite good value. When you think, I mean, I didn't even know that was possible, but I definitely would have got Nelson cloned at that price.
Yeah.
Not 5, 1 Nelson. That's 10 grand a dog. You got to say it's what, 5 to 7 for a cat?
Gotta be smaller.
Even if it was 7 grand, I'd have got Nelson cloned, and I'd still have a sort of a clone Nelson with me. But that's just food for thought.
You could have maybe got 4 Nelsons. Imagine that.
Yeah.
A litter of Nelsons.
No, it's too much to deal with. He was a very emotionally demanding cat. Right. I'm not sure I could take more than one of him at once.
Milei has been known to refer to the current clone of Conan as his son, and he doesn't distinguish between him and the original dog. He believes this is like a reincarnation that he's cloned. It's the same dog. The other 4 dogs are referred to as his grandchildren, and he seeks advice from them when it comes to matters of his campaign, policy, and other important decisions. This man is in charge of Argentina.
It's the second biggest fucking economy in South America.
Jesus.
This is an influential fucking country. And they've elected him. I mean, this is how populist leaders come to power. He's, you know, they've had years and years of corruption, inflation, poverty. And so in a state like that, no one's going to vote for a status quo candidate. This guy has been described as a cross between Elvis Presley and Wolverine, and he's got this sort of Nadine Dorries character who sort of is his like hype woman, right? Who is a congresswoman now, but she was previously a professional cosplayer who went by the name Lady Lemon, but her real name is Lilia Lemoni, and she seems to be like obsessed with him. And she said he looks like Wolverine, he acts like Wolverine. He's like an anti-hero, right? And it's just, Wolverine is very loyal and brave. He can get really mad and be aggressive with his enemies, but only when he's attacked. He will never, ever kill someone or attack someone for no reason.
And is she saying this
and
about
she's
Milei?
talking there about Milei, right?
Listen to
so
this.
she says,
I've got a theory. Imagine that, right? Imagine that, but in 2025 in the UK, but instead of Malay, we're talking about Gary Lineker.
Yeah. And it's the same. I mean, he was a TV personality like Lineker.
There you
and
go.
He built up a big following and a lot of popularity. And he's got this, like, I mean, Lineker's Nadine Dorries would probably be like Carol Vorderman. So if you imagine her talking about him, she says he's adorable.
Read
he's
the
got a
quote
softer
again.
side.
Read the quote again from Nadine Dorries,
And imagine
Argentina.
it's Vorderman.
And imagine Vorderman and Lineker.
Okay. So she go, Gary Lineker is very loyal and brave. He can get really mad and be aggressive with his enemies.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen that. Have you seen him having Twitter exchanges with Piers Morgan? It can be quite aggressive.
When he reaches his full length. Yeah.
Only when he's attacked. He will never, ever kill someone or attack someone for no reason. Fucking hell. So it would be Vorderman basically saying, look, Gary Lineker's a good guy. He'd never attack for no reason, but if provoked, there's a chance he might kill you.
That feels legitimate. Yeah.
What else is there? His biographer, who's called Juan Luis Gonzalez, said he paints him as paints Milei as a mercurial loner who suffered a childhood of parental abuse and schoolyard bullying during the 1980s and was given the nickname El Loco, the Madman. And he said, more than Milei's ideas, what worries me is his state of mind and emotional stability. Again,
fucking hell.
Lineker.
I've got more here from Gonzalez, the biographer. He says that Milei is convinced, back to the dogs again, sorry. He's convinced the dogs advise him, but they've each got a specialisation, each dog. One in politics, another in economics, and another just gives him general advice.
General counsel.
Outfits, you know what I mean?
Legal stuff.
Haircuts.
Fashion advice. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with what's going on at the movies, so he'll give me suggestions of films he thinks I might like, that kind of thing.
The Gonzalez, the biographer, says this man who would command the fate of the country wakes up each day, does medium sessions with the dogs, and then makes a decree based on that. It's very shocking. Fucking hell,
that is shocking.
Bit, isn't it?
And then get this, right? He was a successful media personality. He found fame as an economic pundit on Argentinian TV, where he would pontificate about both the misery of inflation and the joy of tantric sex.
Fucking hell, sting.
He said on TV, like on a news programme, he's chucked in this. Each man has his own dynamic. In my particular case, I ejaculate every 3 months. Can you believe that?
What?
Yeah.
That's not enough. Someone who's running a country, you get too backed up.
If you read the diaries of any great leader through history, from Lincoln to Churchill to fucking Julius Caesar, right? All of them masturbated regularly. For a very simple reason.
Kept their pipes flushed.
Keep the pipes clean. That way you are
like
focused. You got your mind focused on the job at hand, right? If you're backed up, you start getting thoughts about matters of the flesh non-stop. You're frustrated, you're angry. We all know what it's like, right? It's like Churchill's diaries, which I'm a keen reader of. He's record. Some days he just goes, no news from the Russian front. When will this war ever end? P.S. 2 wanks today. One just before breakfast, one after PMQs.
During a cabinet meeting.
Yeah. And, you look back at Caesar, any of these great leaders, they're all at it non-stop. So he wants to rethink that once every 3 months thing, because that could it could discombobulate him emotionally.
It's pretty radical. It's pretty radical. What else have we got about him? Yeah, the dogs are his grandchildren. He's got plans to... he's going to get rid of the Argentinian peso for the currency and switch to the US dollar. That's fairly standard in that part of the world. I think they do that a lot. Going to get rid of the central bank / public spending, curb abortion access. He's rejected climate science. He calls that a conspiracy, socialist conspiracy. He's been praised by Donald Trump, which is possibly the most alarming thing of all.
Endorsement.
It doesn't bode well, does it? I think we should be readying ourselves for Falklands 2.
Falklands Part 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. The other thing is, I don't know if we mentioned this, on the campaign trail, because his big policy idea is slashing all public spending.
Yeah.
He started going around with a chainsaw, waving it about on the campaign trail, often dangerously near to like his supporters who are all around him. There's some great videos of that. And and he's even got a sort of a helmet, right? Which looks a bit like a Daft Punk style helmet, but with a chainsaw coming out of it. So he goes around wearing this hat, and the hat is a chainsaw.
Right.
And that became his gimmick, which actually isn't a bad idea, really, if your whole thing is, I'm going to slash public spending. Although it's weird to think that 14 million Argentinians would vote for someone who's saying, I'm going to stop spending money on public services.
It's almost like collective insanity. But who are we to second guess the Argentinian
What do we know?
public?
We're not economists. We are keen observers. We are historians, sure. Investigative journalists,
Those two
absolutely.
things, yeah.
We're also domestic logistical consultants. All of those things we are. What we are not is economists, but we are keen observers, aren't we?
Very much so.
Of geopolitics and of global economic matters.
We're gut reaction political commentators, and my gut reaction here is this is not going to be good. This is not going to end well. But it is something that I think we'll be keeping our eye on in the coming weeks and months. Definitely. It's going to be hard not to. He's also on his campaign trail, he called Al Capone a hero, and he also called Pope Francis a filthy leftist.
Oh my God.
So, there you go.
He doesn't pull his punches, does he?
And like you said, he looks like Bernard Manning. He looks like a 1970s stand-up comedian.
Yeah. It's a worrying turn of events in Argentina, but I guess
we needed to address it. I'm sure that's what everybody who listens to the podcast would want.
Everyone would have been waiting for this, and now we've had our say.
And I think all we can say is really watch this space, because there's plenty more to come. Anything else you want to add, Sam?
I think we've said enough.
For now, anyway, yeah. I do not welcome our new Argentine overlord.
No.
On this occasion.
But it could be content worthy, so
it could be.
Bad maybe for the people of Argentina, not so bad for podcasters sat in their pod rigs in the UK. Yeah.
Right, all right, thanks for joining us for this very brief update, emergency pod, and goodbye.
Goodbye.